Hey everyone, now that we have our button with component properties like we just created together, I'm just going to leave that instance there. Actually, I'm just going to delete it. We're going to create a variant of this button. We're just going to have a hover state, just 2 variants. And you may have more because you may want to have the ability to just have one button component and just swap between styles and sizes, and then, do those component property, make those decisions, when you're within your designs, which gives you a lot of flexibility. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually create a variant. So you can either do this. You can either click on that master component and add variant, or you can go to the properties panel and add a variant. So that's just going to give us a nice box, that bounding box that we often see with variants, but there's only one in here. So what I did was I just turned it into an auto layout frame that's going to hold all my variants, and then I'm going to make a copy of this. And all I'm going to do with this copy of the variant is I'm going to just make it just a hover. And that means I'm just going to come in here and, change that opacity. Actually, you know what? What I'm going to do is for this hover, I'm going to make the background color just a little bit, see-through. So we got 80%. I think that's going to be fine for now. I'm going to click on the box that's holding it all, and I'm going to call this state. So I'm definitely working on a state change that's very visual. So I have my default state, which is fine. So it's named over here, the current variant. And then I have my other state, which we're going to just call hover. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to just quickly illustrate some interactive components. You should have this checked. We'll get into this much later. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, link it up really nicely, really quickly. So while hovering, that's all I want to do. I'm going to make sure that's, just smart animate, and we can, do 200 milliseconds. So we're going to keep it really simple. And this one is on mouse leave, just in case. We don't always have to use on mouse leave. Okay, so we have our interactive component. We're just going to leave that as is. And now we have our test button. So whenever we use that in a design, and we're going to just grab a card here. So we can just grab this. Oops. We can grab one of these cards. It doesn't really matter which card, to be honest. You can grab the component card, or you can put that button in that component. But here we go. Okay, so I'm going to grab an instance here and just throw that in there. And I'm going to make that fill the container. I'm going to delete this component that we have in there already. So this is our test button. Now it's in this card. What I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to go into my prototype. And I'm going to just create the flow starting point right here. And then I'm going to press play. So let's see how our variant component reacts in here. Okay, there we go. So it's in there. Perfect. So we have our Boolean, our instance swap. Oh, okay, so the one thing we didn't do right was that we just grabbed it in there. Let me just make sure everything is still connected. There we go. Okay, I'm going to now just hold it so we get the instance. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So now we are going to fill. And we're just going to make that a starting point. We'll call it flow 1. It doesn't matter. And see, now you can get that hover state, and we can make it even better. Like we can say that, maybe that background changes to like 50% opacity. So it's much more obvious. And there you go. We made a little quick interactive component. And every time we use this button, it's going to be interactive on every screen. So we don't need to make multiple screens anymore. But that is how you create a component with a variant. So if we take a look and just recap, we have this button that has all, so I'm selecting at the very high component level, which is like that parent level, and these are the variants within. I have all the properties below it, and I have the variant as well.